Hey y'all, it's Natalie here again, and today we are talking about something that I don't see a lot of people actually touching on. We hear a lot about how other countries can be racist. When I'm talking to people about living in Brazil or living in South Korea or visiting or whatnot, one of the first things I hear is, oh my gosh, isn't that country so racist? Like, I don't want to go anywhere that's racist. And one thing that I have learned as somebody who has lived abroad for over 7 years now in these countries is that racism exists. It's a global thing. Racism exists worldwide. And one caveat to that is there is a special privilege that Black Americans experience when moving abroad into racist, quote unquote, racist countries that will completely change your experience in comparison to a Black person from a country from the continent of Africa or anywhere else in the world. And so today we're going to be talking about this, and I'm going to break it down to you why you as a Black American hold a different level of privilege when visiting racist countries. So first, as a Black American, it doesn't mean that racism will not exist to you. It doesn't mean that you are immune to it. But what it does mean is that you will have a different experience of it. Wherever you go, people will judge a book by its cover. And so even here in Brazil, where I'm living right now, everybody thinks I'm Brazilian, right? There's no assuming that I'm from anywhere else. They come and they talk to me in Portuguese, and I'm like, Eu não falo português. I'm sorry. I don't speak Portuguese like at all. And it's almost like when they hear me say this or they hear my voice and my accent, they're like, like, oh, that makes sense. Like everything I'm seeing now makes sense. Like there's something that's different about you particular, but now that you open your mouth, I get it. You're not really Brazilian. You're a different kind of Black. The same thing is true when I was living in South Korea. Anytime I would get into a taxi, of course, one of the first questions they would ask is, where are you from? And immediately, like that one question and whatever you respond to it will help them validate which bucket of Black person to put you in. And by far, anytime I would say I'm from America or I'm from the United States, it is an overwhelming like, oh my gosh, Obama, I like Obama, like all of these things to connect to the American Black experience that is kind of celebrated. And American Blackness, Black culture is it's hyped, right? There is a attraction towards it, especially in Asia. It's a real experience, and you can feel it and you can see it in real time. How people are trying to decide who you are based off of where you're from or the minute that you open your mouth. And when they have the chance to decide that, how they connect with you, what they ask of you, what they do with you, all of that changes, because once they know that you are American, they equate Americanism with money. You become a dollar sign. You become rich in their eyes. Like, I'm not saying that this is true across the board, but this has been true in my experience, many places I've gone. Now, one thing about growing up as a Black American, I truly believe that we have different standards. We hold different standards when we are traveling abroad, and therefore our money can gain us access to different areas than the locals can access, to different opportunities than the locals can access. And so when we do travel abroad, we are not having the local Black experience. And also because we don't have the knowledge of the culture, we weren't raised in the country, there is a disconnect that we experience when it comes to the terms or the phrases that the derogatory terms or phrases that people in the country can be saying towards Black people. We don't know. We can't feel it. We can't see or feel the social cues. Maybe we will be followed around in a store, but other than that, there is a disconnect from the culture that we will never truly understand or experience unless we intentionally integrate with the Black local community and get to know it. Like, someone in Brazil can probably shout a derogatory term at me driving by, but it's not going to do anything. I could still be going about my day, la di da di da di da di da, because it doesn't resonate for me, because I don't understand it, because I'm not in it. I don't know. But like, I know that when there's Black Americans that travel to South Korea and then they hear Koreans speaking to each other saying nega, nega, which is like, in Korean it means like you are, or you something. It's a Korean word that basically is meaning like you are. We hear it through the lens of the American cultural significance of that word. And therefore, even if somebody is not talking about you, we interpret it, and it's compiled with all of the energy, the resonance, the pain of our culture that ties back to that word. And as a Black American traveler, your privilege as a Black expat versus a Black immigrant in a country is monumental. As a Black expat, you are coming into a country usually with American money, with higher standards. As a Black immigrant, they are escaping, they're seeking refuge. Black expats are seeking vacation or a good time. With that comes different perceptions that the culture that you're in also holds on you. For example, when I was in Korea, there were a lot of Black immigrants moving into Korea, especially from African countries, to work in the factories. And when it comes to like the conservative political lens of South Korea, there was a lot of negative energy directed towards immigrants. But when it comes to the Black expat groups, when it came to them knowing that I was an English teacher in South Korea, completely different perspective, completely different energy. Ultimately, what I want you to understand is that your privilege gains you access in different ways. Now, your privilege is not going to completely erase racism. If you're curious about visiting a country, if you're curious about living in a country, I say try it. Don't let what you hear about a country being racist be the thing that stops you from experiencing this country. And many countries have never experienced Blackness before. Within some countries, the magnitude of what they understand as a Black person comes from what they see on TV. And so their experience with you can be life-changing. You could be the beacon that they didn't even know that they needed to see and to shift their perspective of Blackness in the world. Don't hold yourself back from going and exploring and really appreciating the entire world, because there's so much out there for you to still experience.